Mario once again with MIA Microflight, and this is a slew of parts. Uh, Basically, there are all these parts encompass about five machines or five machine designs that I've been working on um, in an effort to sort of upgrade my original MAXPATH 42 CNC router, which is those anodized aluminum anodized blue arms are from that machine. I show that in some other videos. I discuss a little more on that. So if you want to know what how this started, you can just watch those videos. But this is a just a set of parts that I've been working on. Not quite satisfied with some of the designs here, and I'm not totally complete yet as far as the assembly, so I can't tell for sure which parts are going to work better. But I'm trying to basically minimize as much complexity and come up with a very simple machine. This machine is going to be a low rider, meaning that the height of the Z gantry is lower because I don't need that height. I explained that in some other videos. In the past, this is a machine that has been lingering in terms of design on my tables for a while now. I've had some of the designs in the CAD model for many years, but I just never had the time to really um, do these machines, fully engage into the project. And so lately I've been engaging into this with a little more emphasis, and it's because I am finding the need to do some CNC routing again. Ever since I embarked on 3D printing, I kind of lost that interest, and I just haven't had the need for a CNC router. But lately, one of my projects that involved a pinball machine, I did the table, so I need a good size CNC machine that can do that. The MAXPATH 42 would have done it, but because it typically would sit in this area here, as I explained in my other videos, this way, lengthwise this way, and with a shorter width this way, and the gantry moving this way. It was a little awkward for me. I don't know how I got by that for many years, cutting a lot of stuff that I cut on that machine that way, because it was very difficult accessing the tool. Anytime I wanted to make a tool change or fix or something, set up the material, it was a little awkward coming in this way and trying to work at 90 degrees, as opposed to having just a machine this way with the long gantry moving forward and back this way. So there it just opens up the whole area here. And so I've been working on. I was considering upgrading that machine with some of the existing parts, but I decided not to do that. Maybe I'll just leave that machine intact since I've been working on these other parts, and now that I have the real tangible parts, I can see what's happening here, and I can more effectively kind of determine which machine I'm finally going to go for. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about this. This I explained in my other video. This setup right here, using these rails. These are steel square tubing rails, and I really like the stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen stuff done with tubes, with rods, with I mean you name it. Over the years, because I've been involved in this type of work for for almost half of my lifetime. So I've seen a lot of stuff. Way before even YouTube was available. So I come from that sort of background. YouTube is just more convenient because you see a lot more of these ideas, spread out, with 3D printers and stuff like that. But 3D printers is great. They allow you to make pretty much any design you want, but in some things it works okay. In some other things it just doesn't work okay. Just my opinion based on the type of work I've done. I know from a working hands-on application, what works and what doesn't, and how far you can take those things to the limits. When I'm talking about thickness, infill, and all that stuff. So this right here, for example, is a very it's still a good system, but it's a little bulky for my liking. I mean, I did this just to reinforce this area very solidly, and it's a very solid bracket here. This bracket actually needs two additional parts, two plates, one in the back and one in the front. So you end up with a part that's about 2 inches in width. So it's very, very solid. The connections here to the are done to the trucks here through two additional braces here, and these braces are also pretty thick. They're ½ inch thick. The infill is quite dense, so it's they're very solid parts. So this is holding on very, very solid here. This is another part that I did many years ago that I'm just using it as my my Z or my this would be my X axis truck. I can still use that part if I wanted to, but I got some other designs that I'm also working on. So that's pretty much this would work just as it is. So I've had some other like I said, other designs that I've been printing some of the parts, and so this is another system here. These parts in green that you see right there. You can see this is part of my gantry here, which is a lot more compact than that system there. And this also has some additional parts that I'm waiting for the printer to finish. This is another system right here that I did. I have a machine that I did with this electrical conduit, and this stuff right here is solid, more solid than any 3D printed part would be, but just the nature of being steel in aluminum parts here. You know, the trucks are aluminum, and it's braced on all four sides, so it really hogs this electrical conduit really well. And that's just almost like a C channel, but it's got these curves here which make it a lot more rigid. So this stuff is really good. I built a machine using that, but that machine's too large to be installed here, so I kept it outside. But I decided just to take out, this is supposed to be the Z-axis. I took this out just for comparison's sake here, and just to study all these things a little bit better. This is part of the MAXPATH 42 original router CNC that I modified because this used to run on dovetails. Just anodized dovetails. You know, it's good if you're not going to run anything that's abrasive, but I cut a lot of fiberglass with this machine, and the fact that I was using water to submerge the fiberglass sheets, it created a lot of sud, and all that stuff would get embedded here, and it was nasty. So it kind of wore out really fast, the anodized coating. And you can see right there, you know, that's worn out. So when that happened, I started losing precision of the machine. And my workaround was because I was under time strains at that time. I was making a lot of the helicopter upgrades, micro helicopter upgrades, and I had a few dealers around the world distributing that stuff for me. So I had commitments that I needed to retain and to answer to. So in this machine was my bread and butter at that time, making all those parts. So and it happened that I ran into a situation where the machine was not precise, and so I had to take it completely apart and come up with my own rail system here in a almost overnight. It actually took me about a month to do this modification that you see here. I had to machine this. Not only this is the Z-axis, but I also had to machine the X-axis to do the same thing. Install these steel rails on the side, these rods, so that I can use these trucks here. These skateboard ball bearing trucks, and this worked extremely well. And it's a very a little tight right now because I just assembled it, but that works extremely, and it's very precise. And so I was thinking of maybe reusing this with some of these new setups right here. I mean, I can still put this whole thing right here. I mean, I could mount that right there, and it would work just fine. And the thing I like about this particular Z-axis linear rail is that it's very compact, it's very thin, as opposed to this one over here. You know, you see how much height you get with this type of Z-axis linear rail here. It's a little bulky. This is a little more thinner and more compact. And so I'm working on a 3D printed version of this setup right here because this is also really heavy, and it puts a lot of stress on the gantry, which I don't need. I don't think you need to have that much bulk here. What you need to have is structural rigidity on the rail itself, not so much on these parts right here. So this can be lighter, and so I'm working on a new version of this right here. As I said, I think I'm just going to keep this machine with the original one and maybe reassemble it and sell it. Sell it or just keep the parts for raw materials, because there's a lot of them here. I mean, I can still use a lot of this stuff for other projects. But that is the difference between these various types of trucks and linear rails. I did another video way back when I was working on my Core XY, a very unique Core XY 3D printer, and you can watch those videos as well if you want to see some really different and interesting stuff. That Core XY, I also had to come up with my own rail system there, and I also did some other ideas that I don't show here. I mean, there's so many ways to do this. But they all come down to basically you just need to maintain some kind of a rigidity on the rail system, so it doesn't flex as these trucks are riding over them or under them, whichever way it is designed. So that is that is the only requirement of these things, and you can do them with ball bearings. You can do them with some tubular tubes. You can do them with just a typical pillow mounts that's got the recirculating little tiny ball bearings, like on the Thompson pillow blocks and rails, like this machine uses on the longer axis. As I was saying, unfortunately, this machine was designed with these dovetail is their linear rail, and I believe that the reason for this right here, let me just add that in this comment, is that the gentleman that designed this machine from MAXPATH and C at that time, we're talking about 25 years ago or more, when he started this company, he was making CNC mills, almost similar to the Shearline mill. The Shearline mill came out way before this company, and then I think he embarked on that, kind of trying to compete with that with the Shearline mills, and so he came up with some Max and C mills, little mills, and so he was using a lot of the stuff is basically some of these parts are from those mills. And maybe he decided, which makes sense. I mean, it's from a manufacturing point, if that's working for your mills, you can also do it on a router. The thing that one should consider, from a manufacturing and as well as a user point of view, is that what are you going to use the machine for? If you want to use the machine, for mild aluminum milling on a small mill machine, is not as critical to have really bulky ball rails, ball screws, and stuff like that. And so this dovetailing with these anodized parts works, because anodized over anodized is very smooth, the surfaces. So for stuff like that, it's okay. You can get away with that. But if you're going to be milling rough materials, operating the with inside a tank of water or solution, and then you're going to and these materials are not just your regular materials like wood or just even aluminum metal. You're more abrasive, like fiberglass or carbon fiber. Then you have to also consider the machine and in the process, and how you're going to is the machine capable of doing that without getting so much of that residue on the machine itself, where it's going to wear that out. So so many considerations from a manufacturing and operational user standpoint. I just wanted to point those out because I am a manufacturer for a lot of stuff, and I'm also a user. So I see that both sides of that world. As anybody that I'm pretty sure has is a true machine designer or product designer, understands that. So yeah, this is my setup right here. Like I said, I haven't decided just yet, but uh, some of these parts are coming out even better. I have a large Core XY that I bought from Two Trees, and I've been using that machine to print some of these things. But this part right here, I just did that with a cover over the machine, and it came out absolutely gorgeous. The layering here is you can't even tell that there's a layer there between the parts. And this was done at just to save on time at I believe I'm running this at 2.5 or 2.8 millimeter layer thickness, but this part came out it almost looks like it's injection molded. There are very minimal layering effect, and this material that I'm using is also a little bit harder. It's almost, I believe the company is mixing a little bit of ABS with PLA on these particular parts. That's why they come out. They have a matte finish. It's called matte PLA, but I believe they're using, because this also has a higher smell to it. I have to run my exhaust fan, when I'm using this, because that if it lingers in the air, you'll have a sore throat after a while. So. But I am running this with a cover over the machine, and it just printed so gorgeous that I'm printing the other parts right here. I should have done the same with this, because these parts were printed on the same machine, but these have, as we can see, it's got some imperfections here and some delamination, and in some areas, not all. The part's still good, but this one in particular, you can see some of that delamination right here. This is a fairly new part that I just printed. Same thing. I was getting this, and this is the same material. You can see right here on the first layer. Also, it was not consistent. But and I also changed my Cura settings so that I can print this with a triangular hexagon. At I think I'm running the separation at 0.8. Is it 5 millimeter separation between the between the walls of the triangular hexagon infill. So this one's done just with actually this is this is just a square but not hexagon, but just squares on an angle here. But the hexagon triangular is much better for more sturdy mechanical parts. So I'm printing those parts. The rest of those green parts in that machine, covered, which I should have done it, originally to do a lot of this other yellow stuff, the much larger, especially components. But that's where I am right now with these parts. This machine right here is going to be a very, very nice machine once I get done with all this setup right here. You'll see it in another video, but this is where I'm at. I just want to capture this on a video just as an update to this particular project. Mario, once again, stay tuned for more.